Hey guys, it's Marigal Ben Yaakov. It is March 22nd, 2023 on a Wednesday, and happy biblical Rosh Hashanah, or biblical Jewish New Year, according to the Bible itself, not according to rabbinical Judaism. They misread the scriptures and twist it in their ancient Pharisee nonsense that got handed down that evolved into the rabbinical establishment you see today. But they celebrate in the fall, where in the fall it would be the 7th month according to the biblical calendar. So anyway, according to Exodus 12:2, when Passover is about to begin, El told Moses, according to the legend and the myth, that this shall be the beginning of the year for you, the beginning of all months of the year for you. So this is New Year right here at springtime. And when everything's start to come back alive from being dormant, or the seeds start popping out brand new, this is when life begins. So it's proper to have New Year at this time. And so today, before I get started, if you've been watching but you never hit the like button or the subscribe button, please hit those things, and it'll help my channel out and to help me grow and to expand. So anyway, my name is Marigal Ben Yaakov. If I didn't say that at the beginning, I am a stone artist. That's what I do for a living. You can see this big stone carving right here. It's a dragonfly, and I got a flower. Then got a big old blazing sun right there, if you can make it out. Anyway, got the front page of a little newspaper there. Anyway, so that's pretty cool. So this is what I do, and I'm in Hot Springs, Arkansas. And so anyway, I want to get into a little bit how to determine the biblical New Year. Like, how do you come up with this? And because some things have been lost or passed, and not passed down. Other things have been passed down, but it's kind of distorted, like in rabbinical Judaism. Hillel II did all the mathematics and things like that, and all the oral traditions, why New Year can't be on this day, or Passover can't be on this day, or Yom Kippur, blah, 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 because of hooey, But biblical Judaism doesn't act in those manners. So, according to biblical Judaism, everything is determined, like New Year is determined by two things. And one of them, the major factor, is the movements of the sun. Okay, now my background is getting all super blue according to this for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe it's bleaching me out, but I'm putting the extra blue in there because there's no extra blue lamps going on. Anyway, looks kind of cool, I guess. Hold on. Alright, maybe that helps. Yeah, that seems to help. I put a garage door up to my carving shed. Well, this is my gallery side. Anyway, it's based on the sun, first of all, and the three major things that this sun does, or four, but one of them is the same spot. And what I'm talking about is the sundial. If you study the sun long enough, I'm just going to use this background carving right here and just use my head as the sun, or my fist right here, maybe this one. And so when you have like a stick on the ground, like this, and the sun here, it causes the shadow to go right there, or if it's way over here in winter because it's further away, it shoots way over there. So on a sundial, there's three main marks, and two of them are in the exact same spot, but determines where the shadow is going. And so using this rock, for example, since the summer line is closest to you, we'll use this right here, this edge of the dragonfly rock. then maybe the edge of the wing for spring equinox and the fall equinox. And this one will be the winter solstice, okay? So what's kind of cool about the sundial, if it's big enough, you can see it when it's going toward December 20th, which is the winter equinox. You can see it get longer, like gap, 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 gap. Then after 20th, you can see it flip, which is pretty cool. And the same way with the summer. June 20th, like this, and I'm just using generalizations. Could be the 19th or the 20th, and maybe sometimes the 21st. I'm not sure about that. I just have to check about it. I mean, I've been doing it for a long time, but anyway, so it goes like that and flips around, so it's pretty cool. So coming from the winter line, it would be going one whole length is half a year, half the days. So there's 364 and a quarter, something like that, and so it'd be 182 or something, and so 108, just generalization, just round it off. So 182 days takes one deal and a half, or 75 or something, and 182 again. So when you're coming from winter and it hits that equinox, that tells you new year can begin. Now this is a generalization, okay, just to keep it all basic. So once the sun hits the equinox, the first new moon that hits the very day of the equinox or right after that, any new moon that comes after that is the biblical New Year. So because today is the 22nd of, now I'm going to round about, I'm just going to round things off. I'm not going to just get into precise minutes. So the equinox was on the 20th of March. So the first new moon, however, was on March 21st. Now, so you might think it's on New Year's on the 21st, but this is where it gets a little bit more detail. You cannot read the Bible like in where I'm at in Hot Springs and say, it's New Year right now. No, everything is based on, when it comes to the Bible, the Tanakh, that is the Old Testament, and what Christians call it, but it's not old for us, is that everything is based on Jerusalem time, because that's where our capital was and where the kings determined times and things like that, and the sages looked out and looked for the sliver of the moon, down in the horizon to see if the new moon happened. And so anyway, what happens is, it's the first, now our days, I got to interrupt myself. The Jewish biblical day starts at sundown, and not midnight like most of the world does it. Why? Because when you read Genesis, it says, in the beginning, Elohim created the heavens and the earth, or El, created the heavens and the earth, blah, 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 blah. And the earth was without form, and it was void, it was a formless blob. And then he started forming it, molding it, and like what you see today. And that's kind of the legend, the myth behind it. And so it's still dark when he was doing this. And so then all of a sudden he says, let there be light. So he started creating during the night, or darkness. So this is why we start at sunset. Right after sunset is our 24 hours. Okay, so keep that in mind. So the first, when the new moon happens, astronomically that is, the first sunset after that is the new moon day. I mean, the first day of the month, or also New Year and new month. And so anyway, what happens is, what happened this time around was the spring equinox was on the 20th. Okay, then according to Jerusalem time, on the 21st, the new moon, astronomical new moon, happened at 7 p.m. Now, granted, I am, like I said, I'm rounding this off, not going by 7:15, 7:20, whatever precise minute. I don't have that in front of me right now. But it was at the 7 o'clock hour, 7 p.m. And so, however, sunset happened at like 5:55 p.m. So it was past sundown of the 21st. So you have to wait until the next sunset, which was the 22nd. So therefore, New Year and the beginning of the first day of the first month, or the new month, happened on the 22nd. And 22nd at 5:55 Jerusalem time, or 5:56, whatever it was, in the precise minutes. So that's when New Year happened. And so that's today, and being the 22nd. So Happy New Year, Happy Rosh Chodesh, and Happy Rosh Hashanah. And so this is how you determine stuff, is by the sundial. And so I just want to spit that out there. And so it's just easy as that. Now, to be more precise about certain things when a new year can occur, when a new moon happens, literally soon before the equinox, because you don't want Passover to be so later in the springtime weather, is Passover can be, it has to be on the equinox or after the equinox, anytime after the equinox. So because Passover is on the 14th, you could count 14 days, before the equinox. If a new moon happens within a 14-day span before the equinox, you could use that as Passover. And but not before 14 days. It's just too early. You just have to wait for the following month, if that makes any sense whatsoever. So some years Passover could be like today, March 22nd, where other years would be way off, way off on April 8th, April 9th, April 1st, things like that. It pops around when you use the Gregorian calendar. Of course, when you use the Jewish calendar, it's always on the same day. The first month on the 14th day. So, but when you mix the two calendars, it can get a little confusing. So, anyway, I hope that makes sense, and I'll put everything on the side over here. And maybe take some pictures, maybe time-lapse photography where you can see like the sun moving on a shadow, like say an ancient obelisk or a sundial, where you go do time-lapse photography and you see the shadow move back and forth. But anyway, that's my spiel for today. So the year is, according to the biblical year, just to throw that out there, how old is the earth in the universe according to the Bible? Not reality, just the Bible. Of course, that's blasphemous for some. The Bible is reality, it's the truth. Okay, if you want to believe that, that's fine, even though it's false. But it's somewhere around, now I just posted it, but I forgot already. It's like if you count the years, like when Adam had Seth, he was 130 years old, blah blah blah, and you count all the way down to when Nebuchadnezzar destroyed the first temple. That was in 586. Then you just backtrack it, then you kind of know what BC it was, like what year, like 4,100 and something BC. So the current year is something like 6,000, if you're not the Jewish modern rabbinical year, which is 57 something, they're totally way off by several hundred years. I don't even know how they even get the reasoning. They're just goofy. I know, believe me, but I'm just kind of blasting them. But according to the biblical calendar, it's 6,186 years old is the age of the earth and the universe and all the stars of heaven and everything in existence. Except for God himself, he's eternal. So, anyway, around about that, I'll put it right here if I'm a little off, but I believe if I'm correct, it's 6,186. You could go on my website called ancientjudaism.blogspot.com, and you scroll down until you see a paper, like I think it's on the third page, called Age of the Earth, and I break everything down. So anyway, that's the spiel, and so it's pretty easy to determine. Now we got like to inaugurate the every month we use the shofar. This is a super baby shofar, and it's pretty easy to blow. You just kind of sound like you're gassing, not to sound cruel, but like that, and it blows a lot better. You put little lips in there, So you just do it in a certain way. So let's see if I can do it without sounding sick. So just do it quick, then longer, and quick and longer, then one big blast, kind of like that what I just did, but for a long time. Let's see if I can do it. Anyway, this is how the shofar is used. And like to use it, like you can see maybe this baby hole there. You just put just a little bit of your lips kind of within it, and you kind of make the sound like that, and it makes it pretty loud. Some people blow it on the side, or just right here. Oh, here we go. One long blast goes like this. As long as you can, as long as it doesn't sound terrible like a sick elephant or something. My kids would try to do it when they're young, and we just laugh. Well, that's a sick elephant, or a goose or something. Anyway, here we go. The astronomical month is only 29 to 30 days, whereas a Gregorian calendar has 28 to 31 days, so it makes it all messed up when you look at the actual moon. So the Jewish calendar is pretty easy. So the first half after sunset is the 7th day of the month, where a full moon is typically the 15th. This is rounding things off. And the other half moon on the sunrise side is the 21st. Then you have the new moon, and so the month starts over. And so it's just that easy. So every time you look at the moon, when you've been brought up in this culture, just looking at the moon and its faces, you know what day of the month it is. So it's pretty easy to understand. So back in the day when they'd do that, they would set like bonfires on the hills, and the community who saw it, they had an average time, kind of a guess, because unlike the Gregorian calendar, which like February could be 28 days to 29, and on long months, you have 31 days. The actual astronomical calendar, if you're using the actual moon itself, there's only 29 to 30 days per month, moon month. Biblical Judaism, on the top of every month, you would have certain sacrifices, and that would, you can read this in Numbers, for example, Numbers 29 or 28, and I'm not sure if it's in Leviticus 23. I'll put it on the side here. So now, as far as the commandments go, you can find in Leviticus 23, starting at verse 11, where it talks about the sacrifices you give on each new moon, and which includes the new year. Now, it does not say, so I think it's kind of, there's a few things that are not in the Torah that should be in the Torah. Like it doesn't say, you're not allowed to conduct business deals on the new moon, but you find it in Nehemiah and you find it in Amos. However, in the law itself, you don't find that. So a lot of Jewish people who are Orthodox could be sinning all over the place on the new moon, because simply they're reading the Torah only and not reading the rest of the book, because a lot of Orthodox people have the habit of Torah only and then the oral law, where they don't read the rest of the Bible. They're very ignorant of the rest of the Bible. So, and that's the Orthodox, let alone the more secular Jewish people like Reform. So, anyway, let me go to Leviticus chapter 23, verse 11, and I'll read it to you. And but what I was going to say is, New Year probably was inaugurated with great pomp and celebration to a point, because the spring is here and it's a new year and things like that. But let me read it. See, it says, verse 11, Numbers 28. I messed that up. So Numbers 28, verse 11. And in the beginnings of your months ye shall offer a burnt offering unto the Lord, 2 young bullocks, and 1 ram, and 7 lambs of the first year without spot, and 3/10 deals of flour for a meat offering. Means meal offering. There, mingled with oil for 1 bullock, and 2/10 deals of flour for a meal offering, mingled with oil for 1 ram, and a several 10th deal of flour mingled with oil for a meal offering unto 1 lamb, for a burnt offering of a sweet savor, a sacrifice made by fire unto the Lord. And their drink offering shall be half an hin of wine unto a bullock, and a 1/3 part of an hin unto a ram, and a 1/4 part of an hin unto a lamb. This is the burnt offering of every month throughout your months of the year. And 1 kid of the goats for a sin offering unto the Lord shall be offered, besides the continual burnt offering and his drink offering. So, which also goes like every day you have sacrifices, 1 in the evening and 1 in the morning. And so you have so when it comes to the new year or the beginning of the months, each month you have the daily offerings you got to do, and you have the new moon offerings. Now, if the new moon falls on a Sabbath, then you got 3 things. The priest had 3 things to do. You have the Sabbath sacrifices, you have the daily sacrifices, and you have the new moon sacrifices. So it gets pretty interesting. So it was busy on some months, and on a Sabbath, where typically a normal dude like me, not being a priest, I'm not allowed to do anything, yet this dude is doing all this stuff. And so he's commanded, though. So there's a difference. Where I'm commanded, I have to rest. I cannot do stuff. So anyway, that's it. That's the law for the new moons, and also for New Year. But the book itself does not have any New Year commandments. It's just not in there. Like I was saying about, there's no law in the Torah itself not to conduct business. So we know that the law is, kind of lacking stuff, and it came far later just on that alone, let alone other things like timestamps. Like, if you haven't seen my other videos about the timestamps that are found in the Torah, we know the Torah was one we have today was written around 380 BCE, because Yom Kippur didn't exist yet in the time of Ezra and Nehemiah. Yet in the Torah, we see Yom Kippur, which is the Day of Atonement. So we know it has to come far, far later. So anyway, there you go. So happy New Year and happy Rosh Chodesh, and that means the beginning of the new month. And may the Lord, King of the universe, bless you this whole year, and with honor and blessing, and you be protected and keep you safe. All right, love you guys. Thanks for watching.